Hello guys, on today's episode of I Did Something Dumb, check out what I did. So this is my Mavic Pro, it's the original Mavic Pro, and about a week after I put in a new gimbal, we have to do it again. But this time, it's got a broken arm, we've got a broken rear foot. There was another time I crashed it hard, and this actually smashed in so hard it severed some ribbon cables for these front sensors. So I don't know if anything like that is going on. I haven't opened it up yet. But I have ordered some parts. Alright, so in today's mail haul, we have the gimbal mount. This is the whole assembly up there that has a little rubber feet on it that holds the gimbal and absorbs all the vibration. I ordered a quality, legit OEM ribbon cable instead of the cheap one I tried last time. This is the repair kit for the feet. This is, it looks like the whole arm with the motor, so that saves me a little bit of a hassle. This is the spare battery for my Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual. It's a thermal drone, you guys should check that out if you haven't. I'll leave a link in the description below. Let's go bring this stuff upstairs, take it apart, and put it back together. So to start with, all we need right now is this drone. We'll take the battery out because that is unnecessary. And we'll put the rest of this off to the side. Opening this up is actually rather simple. It's pretty straightforward. As you can see, I've already scraped the crap out of mine, so I'm not too worried about it cosmetically. Got a couple screws in the battery bay. Before I get too deep into tearing this thing apart, let's just look at the damage here. This is literally just held on by the data transmission cable, which I'm surprised has not ripped yet. It might be damaged on the inside, I'm hoping not. But this arm is hanging off. The gimbal's obviously just doing its own thing. And we got dirt and stuff everywhere. This bottom piece is just gone. I think that was gone before though. It might have been gone before. And on here, this foot is halfway ripped off. It's got a bunch of dirt shoved in it. So I got replacement feet. There was one time that I ended up crashing this thing so hard it actually smushed together a little bit and ended up severing this ribbon cable that goes to these front sensors here. So I want to look at that for that kind of damage, but I'm not, I don't think I did. And then replacing this arm shouldn't be very difficult. These connectors here, those are the cables for the front arm there. Let's start with dropping this gimbal out. And that's going to be a couple of screws up here to drop that plate out. And once the plate's out, we can disconnect the connectors from that main board there. Alright, so this is probably going to be the most confusing part, is putting this cable in because it wraps up in kind of a weird way. So I'm not going to go through and explain it. There's other videos that give you a much better close-up of how that works. didn't see any damage to the data cable. That all looked okay. Looks can be deceiving. There could be something I overlooked, but since I didn't see anything that looked obviously wrong, I've put this ribbon cable in, and now I am going to start putting screws in for the covers that go on it. I've got a bunch of new screws for that. Interesting. Alright, I've got that top plate screwed onto there. Now we got a couple of data cables. Now we have to move this board from here to that. So it's just these 3 tiny screws here. There we go. Alright, so this plugs into right here. That's going to sit in there. And this one goes under it. This thing goes up here. Like that. Interesting. Seems like this one is a tad larger than the last one. So now that we have the plate back on there, these are sensor cables for the front sensors, and then these just go to the rest of the aircraft. And then this thing plugs in right here. So I'll pop these 4 on, and then we can move on to fixing the leg. There's that one. Okay, that's done. So we could actually test it right now. If we wanted to, we should. Why not? Alright, so we're connected. You can see we have gimbal movement and we have video. So that part of it is good. It says calibrate the compass. I've smashed this thing into the ground, so I'll have to do that later. But at least we have the gimbal fixed. We're good. Alright, now let's move on to the leg. Alright, since I have the gimbal now fixed and I'm going to be jerking it around a little bit, I'm going to put this little gimbal clamp on the camera just to hold everything in place. So now that's protected, it's not going to wobble around a lot. We can get to repairing that. Alright, looks like we have a couple different wires in here, and it looks like we have a GPS wire too. Interesting. Alright, so we've got a screw here that we have to remove. There's like a little spring-loaded detent thingy down in here. Alright, this thing is gonna pop out. There we go. And that is the end of the arm. That is now garbage. I have to desolder the rest of this. So we're gonna have 3 motor wires, 2 of these other little ones that would go to the light, and then the GPS one is somewhere in here. Alright, so the easiest way I found to do this is to first, okay, we'll put the soldering gun over here. We'll rip through the original glue that holds the wires down, and then one by one, while we're desoldering them, we're just going to apply a little upward pressure with the tweezers just to help pull it free of the pad. Seems to be. Alright. So it's going to be black, white, gray. And if you don't know which color the orders, which order everything is, take lots of pictures beforehand. Because even if you do know, I will forget this 5 minutes later, but that's okay. And then, so this down here for the light, it's V and C, and I'm assuming that stands for voltage and common. So it's going to be white for the voltage, black for the common. Clear the pad there. Alright. And then besides that GPS wire, which is tucked down here, that should be everything. Alright. I'm going to actually take off this bottom cover here just to make sure I am on the right GPS connector. Alright, I got all the screws out. Just pop this thing up. It literally just comes right off. There's nothing to it. So that GPS wire comes from that arm down underneath to this bottom one here. That little one. Okay, cool. Now we're fishing it out. And that is that. Now you can't really mess these up because one's obviously a GPS connector, the 2 lights are super skinny wires, and the motor controllers are a little bit thicker wires. So it's pretty straightforward where they go. Once I've removed the wires, we've actually exposed a B, a W, and a G for black, white, gray. So it's already labeled for us, so we just have to follow the instructions basically, and we can throw this thing back together. So there's the common for the light. Let's get the voltage for the light in there. There's the voltage for the light. Get the black on there. And gray. Actually, let's put the GPS connector on first before I forget about it. So that has to be tucked way down under there. And it goes onto here, right there. Alright, that's on there, cool. Now this part can be a little bit tricky just because I don't know which way the spring is right now. So if it doesn't work one way, I'll just shove it in another way. Alright, these little spring things can be a pain to put in, so I found the best way to do it is to kind of just pinch them with a needle nose to twist them into shape. And then I just pinch them down into the position where they're going to hold themselves before I put that screw in. So now, once I put that screw in, it's there, it's good. Alright, now this Now this arm snaps in and out like it should. Before I put this thing back together and put all the body panels and everything back on, I just want to check and verify the repairs, which means I want the gimbal to move as instructed. I want a video transmission through the camera, and I want this light to work and this motor to work. So let's turn on the drone and let's just verify that everything works. So we have the light, that's good. The gimbal is doing its self-check right now, so that's good. We have an image through the camera. It responds to the controller and does the motor work.
Take off.
Alright, we're good. We'll finish putting the body panels back on, but very important before I do that, let's throw this this gimbal clamp on the back here. The easiest way I've found is to kind of tip it forward a little bit, and then it gives you access. So I guess as long as I have it upside down, let's put the, well, just let me dig out some of the dirt here. That's going to go on there. And when you take this off, there are a couple of screws in here that are actually longer shouldered screws. You want to be paying attention to where those go. Alright, final functions check. Sorry the camera died, but I basically just put all the body panels and stuff back on.